As the saying goes, a man at 30 is a blooming flower. His rich experience is praised by everyone. But our protagonist, Zhang Che, is nearly 30 and only has theoretical knowledge about relationships, having never tested it in practice. Therefore, on his 30th birthday, he decided to give himself a gift to end his virgin years. At a bar, he chose a seemingly naive cutie, expecting himself to be the hunter, but ended up being the prey. At this moment, sitting across from the door in the bar, Zhang Che sipped on his iced drink, the liquid swaying in the glass. His smile was both wicked and charming, his long legs crossed, showing their symmetry and texture even through his suit pants. At the bar entrance, several young guys were pushing a tall youth who seemed quite embarrassed. The handsome youth, with clear eyes, was pushed by his companions to sit on the sofa opposite Zhang Che. The youth's whole demeanor was shy and innocent. He sat there awkwardly, not knowing what to do with his hands. Despite several men and women trying to talk to him, he blushed and stuttered, not knowing what to say. Watching the person across from him, Zhang Che chuckled silently. He had found a real treasure. Putting down his drink, he twirled the ring on his left middle finger and called over the bartender to send a Blue Island cocktail to the youth. Meanwhile, he walked gracefully to the boy and sat down beside him to strike up a conversation. The boy turned out to be just as cute as Zhang Che had expected. The boy shyly shifted towards the corner of the sofa on seeing Zhang Che beside him. This action only ignited Zhang Che's old virgin heart even more. With a darkened gaze, he thought to himself, so innocent, just my type. I didn't ask for a drink. The young man waved at the bartender with a blink of his large eyes. I can't drink alcohol. This gentleman here ordered it for you. Then the young man turned his gaze to Zhang Che. Zhang Che smiled at him, telling the young man he thought the drink suited him. The boy's face turned red instantly and he stammered his thanks. The young man lowered his head, pretending to look casually at Zhang Che, focusing his gaze on Zhang Che's legs under the warm, dim lighting and the enthralling music. Zhang Che was dressed formally, his suit pants pulled up by his sitting posture, revealing a slender ankle. The exposed skin was fair, filled with a sense of abstention. The boy kept his head down, staring at Zhang Che's legs until Zhang Che leaned close to the boy's ear, lowering his voice deliberately. Do you like my legs? His voice was sexy and magnetic, with full of teasing and seduction. The slight smell of alcohol wafted to the young man's ears. He exuded a mature man's charm. Zhang Che did not expect the young man to boldly admit it and chuckled softly in his ear, the warm breath hitting his neck, causing him to shiver and cover his neck. You have such a strange fetish. Zhang Che laughed. The boy felt embarrassed, looking up into Zhang Che's enchanting eyes, his face flushing again. Sorry, I got carried away. Do you think my legs look good? Zhang Che teased further. He daringly asked, do you want to touch them? Do you like my legs? The man leaned closer to whisper in the young man's ear, his voice low and seductive. With a voice sexy and magnetic, full of teasing and seduction. Do you want to touch them? The young man looked up, his eyes reflecting the light and revealing a desire and excitement. I want to touch. For a moment, Zhang Che felt as if he could see a tail wagging behind him. Thinking about bullying him later made me feel a bit guilty, so I couldn't help but ruffle his hair, saying, good boy, good boy. The boy lowered his head, letting me touch it as his ears grew hot. The boy's name is Lin Wu, raised by his father's adopted son Lin Dongshu. On the eve of his college graduation, he came to a bar with classmates for the first time. There, he happened to meet Zhang Che, who was determined to end his virginity on his 30th birthday. At that moment, Zhang Che, with ill intentions, took Lin Wu to a private room and dimmed the lights. He poured the boy a drink, thinking the lad needed some courage from the alcohol, and he felt the need as well. Lin Wu waved his hand, telling Zhang Che that he couldn't drink. To convince him, he nodded heavily. Nevertheless, Zhang Che poured a drink and tasted it himself, asking, what will happen if you drink? Lin Wu naively replied that his brother said it would make him drunk, so he couldn't drink. Zhang Che's intentions were clear in his mind. Better if you get drunk, how else am I going to bully you? He moved closer, squinting his eyes slightly and lowering his voice to a seductive, magnetic tone, persuading Lin Wu that a little drink wouldn't make him drunk. Lin Wu, looking at Zhang Che, felt the warmth of his presence. As if bewitched, his face flushed and he hesitated for a long time before nodding. Zhang Che found the boy unexpectedly obedient, like a little puppy, and wanted to tease him more. So, he took a sip of the drink, suddenly held Lin Wu's head and passed him a mouthful. Lin Wu felt the alcohol spread in his mouth, and soon his face turned red. Zhang Che took the opportunity and pinned him down, soothing the little puppy beneath him. Don't rush, take it slow. Zhang Che is super happy, his pride shines through his expression. Damn it, after tonight, he will no longer be a virgin. Suddenly, Lin Wu pushes Zhang Che away and sits up. In an instant, he overpowers Zhang Che beneath him. What the heck? What happened? Zhang Che looks at the boy who has him firmly pinned down, a sly smile with a hint of triumph on his face, his eyes flashing dangerously. His dark pupils reflect his own figure, as if he's about to devour him any second. This version of Lin Wu, compared to the puppy-like demeanor from before, is like a completely different person. Could it be that alcohol changes his personality? This is why he shouldn't drink. What are you waiting for? Isn't this what you wanted? Lin Wu starts to boldly explore Zhang Che, catching Zhang Che off guard and yet unable to resist. Your legs are beautiful, I especially like them. You are the most attractive person I've ever seen. Zhang Che wants to push him away but finds the difference in their strength leaves him powerless and on the verge of tears. Lin Wu, with a teasing tone, squints slightly, his eyes gleaming with a predatory light. It was you who provoked me first. How can you back out now? As the clock strikes 12, in this defining moment of his life, Zhang Che does something he deeply regrets. Since coming into this world, he has never felt such remorse. Having lived for 30 years and always considered himself to be a dominant man, Zhang Che makes a birthday wish to end his virgin life. His wish was made, and heaven helped him fulfill it on his 30th birthday night. He and Lin Wu, who is 8 years younger, spent the entire night passionately, to the extent that their clothes were lost in the fervor. But the next morning, Zhang Che could not feel any happiness. The rage in his heart had reached its peak. Right now, he is sadly complaining to his good friend Zhang Junchen. Am I talking to you about the 82 law fight? Do I look like I'm talking about the 82 law fight? Zhang Che, gripping his friend's collar in agitation, hoarsely shouted, I'm talking about how, on my 30th birthday, someone dared to storm the dragon's den. Not only that, but my clothes were stolen. His friend Zhang Junchen wiped the spit from his face, mocking Zhang Che for his failed attempt at flirting, especially knowing he has prosopagnosia and still dimming the lights so much. Now, I have no clue who it was. Once I catch him, I'll make him kneel and kowtow to me. Zhang Che grew angrier as he spoke, sighing deeply, almost grinding his teeth in frustration. The cause of this comical mishap traces back to Zhang Che's birthday party. On his 30th birthday, he invited a bunch of friends to celebrate. During the break, Zhang Che was cornered in the corridor by his former suitor, Yi Dao, who also pressed him about whether inviting him meant he had something to say. Zhang Che inwardly cursed his luck. He hadn't planned to invite this pest, but a slip of the hand while sending messages accidentally did the job. Yi Dao didn't buy Zhang Che's explanation and forcefully cornered him against the wall, spreading rumors that Zhang Che, despite his reputation, was actually just a greenhorn. This touched a nerve for Zhang Che. Looking down at Yi Dao, who was even 2 centimeters shorter than him, he insulted him for trying to wall slam him despite being shorter, determined to reclaim his pride and shed his virgin status that day. Upon learning the whole story, his friend, sipping on the wine Zhang Che had opened, barely held back his laughter, advising him that at his age, and as a CEO, it's better to be more composed. Zhang Che had not yet finished venting his anger, and continued to rant. The promised sweet puppy turned out to be a different person after a sip of alcohol. All were liars. After cursing, he held his head and started sobbing. His eyes glistened with tears as he complained about the unfairness of heaven. He just wanted to be brave. How did such a thing happen? After saying this, he collapsed on the table, crying in pain. The world is dark, the puppy is fake. Why is it so hard for me to not want to be a virgin anymore? In a certain sense, you're no longer a virgin. Zhang Junchen gazed at Zhang Che and couldn't help but laugh. As he spoke, he burst into laughter. Zhang Che picked up the wine on the table and downed it. You're not worthy of drinking my 1982 law fight, you heartless thing. After lamenting with his friend, Zhang Che seemed to be in a slightly better mood, but the anger still hadn't subsided. When the meeting ended and he was about to go home, Zhang Che stood up weakly, feeling sore all over. His whole body felt as if it had been severely beaten and disassembled, with his bones creaking. He held his waist and bent over to alleviate his pain and discomfort. Gritting his teeth, he said, "Dogman, just you wait." The boy Lin Wu, who fulfilled the haughty CEO's 30th birthday wish, was holding the stolen clothes at that moment. He fondly reminisced about the romantic evening, and in his enthusiasm, he hugged the clothes and practiced his right-hand skill against the wall. At that moment, he still didn't know that he had been cursed by CEO Zhang Che 10,086 times. Ever since that day at the bar, Lin Wu has been sneezing non-stop for some reason. His classmates teased him, saying he must have been cursed. That night, he must have stirred up some romantic troubles. Listening to his dorm mates' varied teasing, Lin Wu's face turned red all the way to his ears and neck, yet he pretended as if nothing had happened. Just then, his phone rang. It was a call from his brother, Lin Dongshu. It turned out his brother had already arranged a job and a place to live for him after graduation, hoping he would move back home soon. Listening to his brother's deep yet inexplicably authoritative voice, Lin Wu reluctantly suggested that he wanted to find a job on his own after graduation. As soon as he said this, there was silence on the other end of the phone. After a long silence, Lin Dongshu's voice finally came through. It's okay to train yourself, it's not a bad idea. After hanging up, Lin Dongshu told his assistant He Anshin, standing nearby, spread the word. Don't let Lin Wu find any job. The assistant paused, seemingly wanting to say something, but ultimately remained silent and followed Lin Dongshu's instructions to arrange it. Watching the figure leaving the office, the assistant stretched out his right hand as if wanting to touch the person in front of him, but eventually gave up. He lowered his gaze, using his glasses to hide his uncontrollable adoration. I can't be greedy anymore. Only by following his wishes can I stay by his side with peace of mind. Meanwhile, Lin Wu hung up the phone, stretched lazily, glad to have expressed his thoughts and even obtained his brother's agreement. In his joy, he caught sight of a light-colored shirt on the bed. His thoughts inadvertently drifted back to the impulsive moments of that night, his mind replaying the man's enraptured expressions. He had fled come morning. It's not that he doesn't want to take responsibility, it was his first time. If it weren't for the catalysis of alcohol, how could he dare to do such a bold thing? He was so nervous that he accidentally took Zhang Che's shirt, as if he could feel the body temperature of the person beneath him that night. Suddenly, he noticed a cartoon avatar and name hand-drawn at the collar and couldn't help but laugh out loud. He never expected that someone with such an elite appearance would have such a cute side. The more he held the shirt and thought about it, the more he had never seen such beautiful legs. The face of the person beneath him, looking affectionate, was so adorable and hard to forget. The more Lin Wu thought about it, the harder it was to erase the feeling of that night. He buried his head in the shirt and took a deep breath, Zhang Che's scent on it gradually blending with his own. His mind kept wandering to the person from that night, the slender ankles that could be held in one hand, and the smooth touch. Lin Wu could no longer bear the turmoil in his heart. Holding the shirt, he rushed into the bathroom, chanting Zhang Che's name and ended up with Miss 5. Afterwards, while washing the shirt, he felt he had fallen. He also regretted not staying that day, maybe he could have even gotten a morning kiss. Zhang Che must be heartbroken because he said it was his first time, but after drinking, he couldn't control his emotions. He fantasized that if they met again, he would definitely take responsibility for Zhang Che and make it up to him. On his 30th birthday, CEO Zhang gave his greatest treasure, saved for 30 years, to the stranger, Lin Wu. Since then, the boy couldn't stop thinking about the president, feeling a deep responsibility towards Zhang Che. Unexpectedly, when they met again, the president couldn't recognize him, the cursed, rabbit sufferer, Lin Wu, whom he had cursed 10,086 times. A week later, Zhang Che had already put the fact that he'd lost his virginity out of his mind, and was out shopping with his new girlfriend. With a bitter smile, he was dragged by his girlfriend into a clothing store. Exhausted, he sat on the sofa, letting his girlfriend browse around the store. He thought about breaking up with her after they finished shopping at this store. Ever since entering, Zhang Che felt something was off, always feeling like someone was watching him. He turned his head and coincidentally met the gaze of the boy sitting behind the counter. The boy, wearing thick black glasses, awkwardly turned his head away to avoid Zhang Che's gaze, his cheeks slightly flushing. He leaned back on the sofa, a roguish smile playing on his lips. Due to his face blindness, he completely failed to recognize that the boy across from him was the same person from that night. Seeing him looking like a little wife, Zhang Che's mind became lively again. He stood up, walked to the counter, and greeted the boy. As soon as he spoke, he saw the boy visibly freeze, then stiffly looked up and responded with a direct, "Hello," while Zhang Che leaned on the counter, somewhat clichély trying to strike up a conversation. "Can I have a magazine from your store? I just want the one in your hands." He was deliberately being playful, reaching forward and grabbing the magazine from the boy's hands. Lin Wu hadn't expected to meet Zhang Che again under such circumstances. He sneaked a glance at Zhang Che, who seemed not to recognize him. So, he deliberately took off his glasses, his eyes fixing on the other. In that moment, Zhang Che was deeply attracted by the boy's good looks. Beneath those thick glasses hid such beautiful eyes, which made his heart flutter. This was exactly the kind of cuteness he liked. Just as Lin Wu was about to reveal his identity to Zhang Che's girlfriend had already chosen her clothes and was coquettishly asking him to pay. The person Lin Jia had longed for was within reach, yet someone else had taken the lead. He felt very frustrated. The girlfriend was completely satisfied, while Zhang Che deliberately took out a card that was not sufficient, letting Lin Wu swipe it, cunningly thinking he must get the boy's contact information without embarrassment. Insufficient balance. "Can I write an IOU?" Zhang Che looked at Lin Wu with a smile. Lin Wu was somewhat embarrassed. The store had no rule for IOUs. But then Zhang Che suggested, "How about adding a contact? You help pay first, and I'll pay you back later." The two hit it off, both eager to exchange contact information. Zhang Che thought he was being careful by deliberately touching the other person's hand. After paying the bill, he coolly waved goodbye and left with his girlfriend, leaving Lin Wu deep in thought as he watched them go. The fingertips Zhang Che touched still tingled. He lifted his hand, gently placing the touched spot to his lips, his eyes darkening as he savored the warmth and the unforgettable night. Zhang Che, we will meet again. Everyone knows that Lin Dongshu, the head of Lin Corporation, is obsessed with his brother. Lin Wu, his brother, was raised by him, but what no one knows is that Lin Dongshu harbors a different kind of feeling for his brother. Looking at his sleeping brother beside him, Lin Dongshu brushed his hair away, his gaze deepening as he thought, I'll have to wait a bit longer. Zhang Che was in a great mood today. Although shopping with his new girlfriend was tiring, it was worth it. It was rare to find something he really liked. Even though he's now forgotten the boy's face due to prosopagnosia, the boy must work in the shop. He seems young and inexperienced, likely easy to keep by his side. He took the initiative to message Lin Wu, asking how much the clothes cost today. The reply came almost instantly, 3,500. Zhang Che craftily sent 4,000, anticipating Lin Wu wouldn't accept the extra money and suggested they have a meal together next time instead. Zhang Che knew when to stop and didn't tease him further. Humming a tune, he lay on the sofa and suddenly remembered the little creature from that night. He worried, wondering if this boy was also someone with a hidden side. Once bitten, twice shy. He tossed and turned in irritation, sighed deeply, and subconsciously touched his gluteus maximus, completely forgetting it was he who had provoked the other first. Lin Wu is sitting on the sofa, intently looking at the chat history, cheeks flushed, lost in thought. He doesn't even notice when someone stands behind him. Lin Dongshu walks into the living room and sees Lin Wu sitting there blankly, wondering what he is thinking. At that moment, the screen of Lin Wu's phone dims. Lin Dongshu frowns and asks Lin Wu what he is looking at. Lin Wu is startled and quickly changes the subject, mentioning he needs to stay here longer because he hasn't found a job yet. Lin Dongshu looks at his younger brother and gently ruffles his hair. My home is your home. If you can't find a job, you can work at our family store. Lin Wu nods, though he is unhappy inside, wondering why he can't find a job despite having good qualifications and a resume. But he suppresses his thoughts, greets his brother, and goes upstairs to sleep. Lin Dongshu watches Lin Wu go up the stairs, his gaze growing heavy. It's past midnight. He stands on the balcony, thinking to himself, Lin Wu, you will eventually come home. You should just stay by my side. His phone rings, it's a message from his assistant and Anshin, reminding him to take his medicine and to drink and smoke less because of his bad stomach. Lin Dongshu turns off his phone, chuckles, his sharply defined profile obscured in the darkness. Then, a knock on the door. Lin Wu is at the door in his pajamas. His eyes relaxed, voice soft. I need to use the bathroom, the light in mine is broken, so I was thinking of using yours. Lin Dongshu steps aside, not sure where to look. Lin Wu comes out, sees Lin Dongshu still sitting on the bed working. The room is so large, yet he looks so solitary holding the laptop. Lin Wu walks over to Lin Dongshu. It's been a long time since we slept together. Let's sleep together tonight, brother. Faint breaths by his ear. Lin Dongshu watched Lin Wu's face under the warm yellow light. Lin Wu's mouth slightly open, shimmering faintly bright, murmuring, brother, softly. Though the mirror showed two completely different faces, and they clearly had no blood relation, Lin Dongshu couldn't step beyond that boundary, standing in the bathroom, tormenting himself. Feeling almost insane, he returned to the room and quietly lay down next to Lin Wu, covering him with a blanket and resting his head on his arm, just like countless nights in childhood when he accompanied his younger brother to sleep. But watching Lin Wu's sleeping face, the hand he wanted to gently caress stopped midair. He knew he shouldn't indulge these feelings but couldn't control his heart. Just wait for me, Lin Wu. Lin Dongshu recalled his first day at the Lin family home at age 6, the eerie harmony of the household. Knowing he was adopted, he always behaved well. His mother, Yu Wanwan, was a great beauty, exceptionally gentle towards his father. However, his father, Lin Wang, was a man of few words and often disdainful of her affections, but he was especially kind to him. His father was also a gentle yet strange man, who often sat in the living room with a photo album, staring at it for hours. Once, Lin Dongshu saw a photo in the album. His father pointed to a man standing next to him. He said, "This is Uncle Zhang, a classmate of your dad from the past." It was the first time Lin Wang smiled at him. He looked weary, yet his smile was as radiant as a young boy's. The man in the photo looks well behaved, with delicate features and a bright smile, as if he didn't care about anything. Lin Wang said he had lived his life too timidly. This huge house wasn't his. You can see the sky here and hear the birds singing, but there's no freedom, nothing to long for. Lin Dongshu didn't know what that meant at the time. He didn't understand the meaning of this sentence until the arrival of Lin Wu. That day, he overheard Lin Wang and Yu Wanwan arguing. They wanted a child of their own. "This is not the child I wanted," Lin Wang roared. It was the first time Lin Dongshu saw Lin Wang so angry, but the father still compromised. 8 months later, a boy was born as expected, named Lin Wu. Although Lin Dongshu didn't know what had happened between the two, he thought Lin Wang had made up with Yu Wanwan, until the accident happened later. Lin Wang died, and Yu Wanwan disappeared. Lin Dongshu inherited the Lin family's company and has been taking care of the young Lin Ji until now. There's a warm presence nearby, but he can't sleep. He gets up and goes to the balcony, looking at the distant neon lights under the moonlight, exuding a lonely and tired aura. In the pitch-dark room, Lin Wu suddenly woke up and didn't see his brother. He silently walked to the window, looking at his brother's silhouette under the night sky, memories flooding his heart. He knew he owed his brother too much. This CEO's flirtation is quite clumsy. First step, intentionally owe money to ask for a phone number. Second step, late-night WeChat message seeking comfort after a breakup, suggesting a meeting. Third step, monetary temptation, physical seduction. See if you can resist falling at the feet of my suit trousers. CEO Zhang has successfully completed the first step and is now implementing the second step of temptation on the little puppy, Lin Wu. Lin Wu had just been staring at his brother's retreating figure, mourning over the past and resolved to repay his brother's kindness. He had just returned to his room when he saw a message from his crush, Zhang Che, and instantly forgot all about his brother. The phone on the bed was flashing, indicating a new message for Lin Wu. He opened it to find it was from Zhang Che, and he got excited. The message from Zhang Che read, "I've been dumped." Seeing these words made Lin Wu's heart skip a beat. He didn't know how to describe his feelings. Was it more joy or sadness? "Don't be sad, it will get better. You're so good looking, many people will like you. Including your mom," thought Zhang Che, who couldn't sleep and so had sent Lin Wu a message. Unexpectedly, he received a quick reply. As they chatted, Lin Wu began to regret his words. After receiving Zhang Che's message, he hesitated for a long while. His heart raced, but he didn't know how to respond. He didn't even know whether he liked Zhang Che or not. He had never liked anyone before, so he didn't know what loving someone felt like. Zhang Che didn't send another message, thinking Lin Wu had gone to sleep. Suddenly, the phone vibrated in his palm. Seeing the caller ID showing Zhang Che's name in big letters startled Lin Wu so much he almost dropped the phone. He widened his eyes and answered in a panic, "Are you asleep? Am I disturbing your rest?" Zhang Che deliberately lowered his voice, which sounded raspy and carried a mature, magnetic quality. Lin Wu was enchanted, taking a long while to snap out of the seductive words Zhang Che had purposely used. "I haven't slept." He had to admit that this back and forth really captured the heart of this little puppy. Hearing Lin Wu's stuttering voice, Zhang Che couldn't help but laugh out loud, calling him a cutie. Lin Wu, on the other end of the phone, blushed, embarrassed by his gaffe in front of Zhang Che, wishing he could turn back time. "About the question just now, do you like me?" Taken by surprise, Lin Wu's frantic heartbeat hadn't calmed down before Zhang Che stirred it up again. Listening to Zhang Che's words felt like a bare body asking if he wanted to hug him. Lin Wu held his phone, maintaining a rigid posture, and said to Zhang Che on the line, "I don't know, don't tease me like this." Zhang Che paused for a few seconds, holding back, thinking, "Oh my, there's such a cute person in the world. This time, I've hit the jackpot. I absolutely can't let this little thing go. I'm feeling very sad right now. If you don't want me to be upset, treat me to a meal this weekend." Zhang Che's second plan was executed so smoothly that he even started dreaming that the little fish was hooked. Why worry about the rest of the fish meat? Pure Lin Wu would never have guessed that President Yang's mind was full of colorful thoughts. He simply felt happy that he could see him again. President Yang's 3-step flirting strategy. Step 3. Appropriate physical contact to make the other person itch with desire, unable to resist. Supplement with financial support to showcase masculine strength for better effect. President Zhang Che and his self-imagined new target agreed to a meal over the weekend. On this day, he carefully coordinated his outfit and arrived early at the clothing store where Lin Wu worked part-time. This time, he didn't wear the elite-style suit but chose a dark, flirtatious patterned casual suit, looking both young and handsome. Seeing the alluring Zhang Che walking towards him, Lin Wu's face instantly turned red. Still a bit panicked and not knowing what to say, she hurriedly went to change her clothes after work, so as not to keep Zhang Che waiting. Such a naive and innocent cutie is indeed to President Yang's taste. While waiting, Zhang Che learned from the clerk that the employees were paid commissions based on sales. So, his slender index finger pointed towards a rack of clothes, not caring whether they were for men or women, and directly took them down. requesting them to be counted as Lin Wu's sales. This action stunned the clerks, who all exclaimed, "What kind of Mary Sue overlord plot is this?" After Lin Wu changed her clothes and came out, Zhang Che did not tell her that he bought a rack of clothes for her bonus. He really knows how to grasp the mindset of a naive and innocent person. What's the difference between telling her directly and taking credit? He let her experience it herself. The two of them walked out of the store together, and only then did they formally introduce themselves for the first time. It's unbelievable. The two of them had rolled in the sheets and had late-night chats, yet the president didn't even know her name. Unfortunately, Lin Wu, the college student naive to the ways of the world, was secretly thrilled that he asked for her name. Dinner was reserved at a Japanese restaurant. In the narrow space of the direct elevator, Lin Wu smelled the faint scent of Zhang Che's perfume and felt the mature aura of a man, causing her face to unconsciously turn red again. She appeared somewhat uneasy and engaged in some awkward conversation. Suddenly, she moved closer to Zhang Che, directly grabbed his collar with her left hand, telling him his collar was not flipped properly, and then directly helped him to fix it. This action startled Zhang Che, whose hand instinctively touched Lin Wu's wrist that was extended towards him. After reacting, he found Lin Wu's somewhat domineering action. It felt familiar, especially that sense of oppression, similar to that bastard he had cursed for days on end. He shook his head, trying to dismiss the thought. How could the little cutie be a bastard? These two people surely have no connection. During dinner, each had their own thoughts. Lin Wu let Zhang Che order, thinking of keeping a record of the foods this person likes, so he wouldn't be disliked in the future. He even fantasized about them going shopping together and watching the sunrise. A typical state of being in the early stages of love. The CEO didn't think that much. He was advancing step by step, slowly getting closer. He strategically approached step by step, only aiming for the young flesh in front of him. Now he had moved to the side where the boy was sitting, encircling him closely. He even intentionally asked if the other party was about to graduate from college and start job hunting. As they talked, he directly grasped Lin Wu's hand, tightening his grip. He whispered in his ear, asking if he had a place to stay, suggesting, "Why not come to my place? How about living with me?" President Zhang made a bold move towards the young man he was about to win over. This caused Lin Wu's face to flush intermittently. Even his ears turned a blood-red color as heat surged through his body, making him want to throw himself at Zhang Che. But the little rabbit was well behaved. A single sentence instantly brought Zhang Che back to his senses. Hearing that he lived with his brother, Zhang Che sobered up a bit. Realizing he had been too abrupt and his intentions too obvious might scare the sweetheart, he quickly changed the topic, surprisingly revealing that he also came from a single-parent family, hoping to create a bond over shared experiences. Unexpectedly, after he spoke, it made things even more awkward. Fortunately, the waiter brought the dishes at that moment, allowing Zhang Che to swiftly shift the conversation and continuously serve food to Lin Ji. Lin Wu, wanting to make Zhang Che happy, accepted everything, so one kept serving and the other kept eating. Until the end, Lin Ji, stuffed from eating, had to lean against the wall to leave. Of course, Lin Wu was willing to oblige, looking at the sincere boy in front of him without any tricks. Zhang Che felt his heart being unusually filled with softness, tinged with a hint of sweetness. Did this boy even know how enticing his unconscious flirtations were? And he just fell for it. Although their first date didn't go exactly as he had planned, without hitting a home run, the beautiful simplicity, like being in love, fascinated Zhang Che even more. He even thought how wonderful it would be to keep going like this. After their date, the CEO reflected on himself, wondering why his heart raced because of such a young guy. He couldn't keep sinking like this. The sincere love of the fragile world wasn't something he could afford. As soon as he heard that the Jin family's young miss was unimaginably beautiful, he decided immediately to attend the banquet held in their honor. Back home, Lin Ji had no idea about Zhang Che's rich mental struggles, still immersed in the sweet moments of their recent date. Upon arriving home, he saw his brother's assistant and In-shun about to leave. Not noticing In-shun's brother's awkward and unnatural expression, he quietly adjusted his collar with his right hand, where one could faintly notice a red mark under the collar. After the assistant left, Lin Dongshu arranged for Lin Wu to join him at the Jing family's dinner the next day, hoping to familiarize his brother with colleagues in the circle to lay the foundation for eventually taking over Lin's enterprise. Although Lin Wu was reluctant to attend such an event, seeing his brother's tired eyes and his lonely back that evening, deeply feeling that he could no longer let his brother shoulder all the burdens, he should help share the load. Thus, he agreed to his brother's request. However, what he didn't expect was to encounter, for the fourth time at the banquet, the man he had harbored feelings for in his heart. The man was his former lover, who had ruthlessly abandoned him for the sake of his future. Now successful and with a beauty by his side, he still sought to provoke him. At the Jing family's banquet, a soft voice called out for brother Zhang Che to play with her. The little girl was tugging at Zhang Che's tailcoat. Zhang Che was focused on flirting, unaware that the Jing family had a great beauty. Cute as she was, Zhang Che dared not raise his voice at her, fearing she might suddenly start crying. He squatted down, gently stroking the little beauty's head, speaking to her softly. At this moment, from behind him came, "Mr. Zhang, sorry to trouble you. My sister is naive and likes clinging to good-looking people." Zhang Che looked up and immediately cursed in his heart. The Miss Jing was truly a genuine beauty, the kind that could captivate a heart at just one glance. Zhang Che, wanting to show his manners, suppressed the throbbing in his heart, smiled gracefully. "The child is very cute, I like her very much." "That's good, I was afraid of bothering you." At this moment, a tall and straight man approached from her side. With a beaming smile, he introduced, "This is my loved one, whom I met overseas." Although the man was slim, he stood just right next to the young lady. At this moment, the man was momentarily stunned but then graciously mentioned Zhang Che's name. "Long time no see. We haven't met, have we?" Zhang Che politely smiled, effectively keeping the man at arm's length, then turned to Miss Jing again. Miss Jing's partner is indeed witty and humorous. After hearing Zhang Che's words, the man felt a rush of heat in his head, somewhat incredulous as he looked at him. Then he relaxed, thinking, "I must have mistaken you for someone else, or maybe I've seen you in a magazine," and just called out involuntarily, "My name is Wei Kaiming, nice to meet you." Zhang Che didn't want to touch this seemingly upright man in front of him, as it would make him feel quite embarrassed. But when he actually reached out to shake the other's hand, he still felt warmth. The texture and warmth of the other's palm were scorching, just like 8 or 9 years ago. Zhang Che couldn't remember exactly if it was 8 or 9 years. He glanced around. This must be the normal life the other wanted, having children, getting married, a stable life, a relationship exposed to sunlight without any criticism. Memories from the past surged in. Zhang Che still remembered Wei Kaming's youthful and tender face, his slim fingers, and his bright smile in the sunshine. However, the love he thought he could have for a lifetime had long since disappeared. When he needed him, he left him resolutely. His own heartache became the foundation of the other's happiness. Youth is full of vigor and health. Not restricted by time or place, one can feel embarrassed at any moment. At the banquet, Zhang Che met Wei Kaiming, the person he least wanted to see in this life. They were once lovers. Young Zhang Che thought he would be with him for a lifetime, but unexpectedly, he abandoned Zhang Che for his own future when Zhang Che needed him most. So much time has passed, and he has come to terms with it, but clearly Wei Kaiming doesn't think so. He glanced at Zhang Che through the gaps in the crowd, then averted his gaze as if there was an indescribable bond, yet seemingly nothing at all. Elsewhere, amidst the restless clinking of glasses, Lin Wu, holding a champagne, was not used to the atmosphere. The tie around his neck seemed too tight, making it hard for him to breathe, so he excused himself to his brother and walked to the garden for some air. Through the crowd, he immediately saw Zhang Che squatting on the ground, talking with a little girl. The gentleness in his expression seemed innate. He patted the girl's head gently, massaging it lightly. Zhang Che felt a familiar intense gaze burning on his back. Turning around, he saw it was Wei Kaiming. Miss Jing was not by his side. Wei Kaiming called out to him, and Zhang Che gave him a glance. He spoke a few words to the little girl, then stood up to leave. As he brushed past, he was grabbed. "Don't be so childish, Zhang Che," he said as Zhang Che shook off his hand and stared him down. Zhang Che flung his arms, lowered his head as he approached him, his carefree demeanor accompanied by a smirk. "What does Mr. Wei want to do? Feeling unsatisfied because nothing happened between us before? Do you want to get to know me better now?" Wei Kaiming, as if suddenly startled, pushed and shoved Zhang Che backwards with both hands, acting like a straight man. "Why are you provoking me?" Zhang Che thought to himself resignedly. Suddenly, the next second, the hand by his side was seized by a strong force. Zhang Che's wrist was grabbed painfully, compounding his earlier frustration, making him even more upset. Looking up, he saw a face puffed up with anger, resembling a tall child. Zhang Che stared at his face for a while before recognizing it was Lin Wu. He looked at the other's aggrieved expression. Smilingly, he asked, "What are you doing here? Did you change your hairstyle?" Lin Wu felt a flutter in his heart, his face flushing red. He always felt Zhang Che's smile had a subtle, enticing charm. He asked Lin Wu to let go of his hand, but Lin Wu gripped even tighter, causing him pain. Lin Wu, as if bewitched, at this inappropriate moment, remembered that night, that uncontrollable night, Zhang Che under him, indulging in pleasure. In the deserted garden, the man approached the blushing boy, gently caressing the boy's face with his fingertips. Inserting a leg between the boy's legs, he hoarsely whispered in his ear, "Do I look good?" The small garden was utterly silent. Zhang Che sat on a stone bench, legs crossed, Lin Wu across from him, visibly restless. Can you tell me what you're doing here now? Lin Wu looked troubled, unsure if he should tell the truth. Just as he hesitated, Zhang Che began talking to himself again. Why did you change your hairstyle? Lin Wu touched his hair and stammered, I changed it because I wanted to. Does it look bad? Zhang Che approached him, patted his head, and with a smiling face, said, it looks good. Then he switched back to the topic, isn't this tiring for you? Working in a clothing store during the day and then coming out to work as a bartender at night. If you're tired, come to me. Lin Wu stared into those clear eyes and spaced out for a moment, not hearing what Zhang Che was rambling about. By the time he snapped back, Zhang Che was already very close enough to feel his every breath. Zhang Che carried a faint scent of alcohol that was steadily stimulating Lin Wu's nerves. Seeing Lin Wu seemingly distracted, Zhang Che placed both hands on his shoulders and asked, am I handsome? Lin Wu didn't dare move, scared that Zhang Che's lips would touch his in the next second. His gaze wandered randomly, and with slightly reddened eyes, he shyly murmured, What does, mean? Zhang Che pressed him further, moving even closer. He didn't know what was happening to him. Lin Wu's expression really made it hard to control his desires. Hearing Lin Wu say he looked good, Zhang Che paused for a moment and continued teasing, how good looking. After saying that, he got very close to Lin Wu, until one leg was already wedged between his legs. Lin Wu looked at the long legs tightly wrapped in suit pants in front of him and almost instinctively wanted to say, as good looking as your legs. But he stopped halfway and immediately closed his mouth. Zhang Che did not notice what Lin Wu wanted to say and sat down next to him. In fact, part of the reason he was teasing Lin Wu was because of Wei Kaiming. Lin Wu looked at Zhang Che and heard him ask, you saw it just now, right? Are you afraid of me? Lin Wu thought to himself that he could hardly be happier, but he pretended to be mature and calm, showing no expression. Zhang Che, touching his chin, continued, actually, liking both sides is more accurate. Lin Jia had touched some alcohol before, and now Zhang Che has been away for so long. The look in Zhang Che's eyes gradually changed, but the latter did not realize the approaching danger and kept talking about something on his own. My money isn't that much either, I also started from nothing. Zhang Che was about to say, do you want to follow your brother? But just after he said half of it, the person in front of him leaned over and hugged him, kissing his lips. Zhang Che widened his eyes in disbelief. This seemingly innocent and harmless puppy, suddenly showing its wild side, it was unexpected. Zhang Che widened his eyes in disbelief. The kiss was dominant and aggressive. This seemingly innocent and harmless little puppy suddenly showed its wild side, unexpectedly. He just felt that this feeling was somewhat familiar, but he wasn't very sure. The alcohol made his consciousness confused, and the intense kiss gradually relaxed. Lin Wu gently cupped Zhang Che's face, showing a pained expression on his young and beautiful face. This made Zhang Che's guard instantly disappear. Don't be afraid, I will protect you. Zhang Che was originally not heartbroken. After all, he had more love than hate for Wei Kaiming, the person he loved most in his youthful days. It was hard to accept when such a person reappeared in this way. So when Lin Jia kissed him, Zhang Che's eyes reddened, looking aggrieved like a child but not daring to really cry out. Lin Wu watched Zhang Che with aggrieved, red eyes, looking like he was about to cry but not crying, immediately panicked, raised his hand wanting to wipe his tears, and also said, don't cry, it wasn't on purpose. Zhang Che felt very embarrassed to make such a face in front of Lin Wu. Even when he broke up with Wei Kaiming and was alone, he never cried. How could Lin Wu's words nearly make him cry? It's my mistake, I didn't wear my glasses today. Lin Wu wanted to say something else, but when he looked up, he saw Lin Dongshu standing at the side door looking around. He was startled, worried Lin Dongshu would come over and expose him. In a panic, he lowered his head and left a kiss on Zhang Che's cheek. I have to go back to work now. I will miss you. Zhang Che stood frozen, too embarrassed to move. What was that just now? Zhang Che's cheek, where Lin Wu had just gently touched, felt burning hot all over. Was that little brat unconsciously flirting just now? But because of Lin Wu, Zhang Che pushed the matter with Wei Kaiming to the back of his mind. At this moment, on the other hidden side of the garden, Wei Kaiming happened to see the interaction between Zhang Che and Lin Wu. His eyes were calm, but his fingers were pinching into his palm, drawing blood. Lin Wu walked towards his brother Lin Dongshu, coaxing and pushing him inside. Lin Dongshu always had a soft spot for Lin Wu's gentle persuasion, but he was still suspicious about whom Lin Wu was talking to just now, planning to ask later. Halfway through, Lin Wu couldn't help but turn his head back. He really didn't mean to kiss him just now. That kiss wasn't just because of the alcohol. Lin Wu didn't want Zhang Che to be angry for someone else. He also wanted Zhang Che's emotions to change for him. He wanted him to only look at himself. The man is Zhang Junchen's boss. He has always silently liked this little assistant. A strong desire to dominate made him hope the little assistant would always stay by his side. But this move was misunderstood by the poor workers as the boss being unscrupulous, only wanting to exploit employees. Zhang Che felt the banquet was uninteresting and decided to leave the Jin family.